Yeah, hello and welcome everybody from all around the world. My name is Lavan Asma and I'm very warm welcome you for our platform launch event today. Thanks for joining us, and we would love to see you in person today, but hope you enjoy also this virtual event. The project start of the AI Marketplace was in 2020, and now we are proud and happy to launch this AI Marketplace in its beta release. Just a small spoiler alert, we will be constantly updating and improving the services and functions of the platform, so this right now is the beta. And within our launch event, we will actually cover 5 points. First, we will look back at the history of the enterprise and explain our motivation. Second, we will make a deep dive into the platform and see the perspectives of different players and users on the AI Marketplace. Third, we want to have a look into our next steps for the second stage of the platform. Fourth, we will have to look into what AI actually means for product creation and what supporting services the AI Marketplace provides besides the platform itself. And finally, we will round up our event with the AI vision for product creation and just some technical hints. If you have any questions, just leave it on the right side, on our experts will be happy to answer them immediately. You will have the direct access to the platform. You just have to visit our website. Thank you very much. And to introduce now our first speaker, I would like to welcome Professor Roman Dumitrescu. He's the leader of the AI Marketplace and the professor at the University of Paderborn, the director of the Fraunhofer Institute for Mechatronic Systems Design, and the managing director of the leading edge cluster, it's OWL. And besides that, he's also my boss and PhD advisor. So he will look back at the history of this enterprise, he will explain our motivation, and warmly welcome everybody, Professor Roman Dumitrescu.
In January 2019, the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy announced a national innovation competition. The aim of the initiative was to create powerful innovation ecosystems around the topic of artificial intelligence. The technology network, it's OWL, one of the biggest Industry 4.0 initiatives, together with the Fraunhofer IEM and the Heinz-Nixdorf Institute from Paderborn University, came up with the idea for a platform that brings artificial intelligence into the engineering process of technical products. We call this platform AI Marketplace. The innovation competition was very popular since a total of 130 proposals were submitted within few weeks. 35 of them were chosen to work out a concept for their AI-based innovation ecosystem. Together with research partners from Lemgo and Bielefeld, we were happy to be one of them. Thanks to the hard work of our team and many workshops with experts from industry and science, we developed a strategy and an implementation plan for our AI Marketplace and built up a powerful consortium of partners from industry and academia, as well as international networks. We pitched our concept at a Digital Technology Days in Berlin. We organized our very own Makeathon and we spread the word on every possible channel. The feedback was amazing. Everywhere we went, we excited more and more well-known partners for our idea. And the end of the 6-month concept phase, it was time to present our strategy to an expert panel in Berlin that would decide if we would get funding for turning our idea of the AI Marketplace into reality. Well, our strategy did convince the experts, and we were selected as one of 10 projects that would get funding for 3 years in double-digit million euro range. But what exactly is our motivation? And what do you want to achieve? The engineering process describes the entire journey from an initial idea of a new product or service to its market entrance. AI approaches offer huge innovation potential along this process. For instance, AI market analysis, the automation of technology scouting, or generative design. We believe that AI is the future of product engineering. There's just one problem. In order to develop innovative products, we need to bring together companies or their product engineers and AI experts and make them speak the same language? Well, that's easier said than done. The product engineering process is highly complex and involves the interaction between many different stakeholders from different disciplines. Very specific tools depending on the task at hand and vast amounts of complex data sets. In order to identify AI solutions that can improve the work of engineers, we have to make AI experts more familiar with the field of product engineering. As a result, we can find use cases within the product engineering process that can be solved with AI way more efficiently. And this is already the first major feature of our AI marketplace, the so-called intelligent partner matching. With 3 further expansion stages, which will be developed step by step, we will supplement the platform with a product data room for engineering tasks, an app store for AI engineering applications, and with modular building blocks from which customized AI solutions for product engineering can be easily created. A lot has already been achieved in our first project year, and today we are proud to launch the first stage of our AI marketplace. So let's have a look together at the future of engineering.
Yeah, thank you, Roman, for your great presentation. And now we are looking at the real deal, and I'm happy to introduce the next speakers, which are also my colleagues who will give you an in-depth overview over the AI Marketplace platform in its first release. So let me introduce Leon Özcan. He's the project coordinator and research associate at the Heinz Nixdorf Institute. Marc Foullois, also research associate at the Fraunhofer IEM and project manager in the AI Marketplace. Dr. Maximilian Panzner, CTO and co-founder at Mercury AI. And at the end, Dr. Olaf Knospe, the CTO at the Westerflex GmbH. So warmly welcome, and let me welcome you, the first speaker, Mr. Leon Özcan. Welcome, Leon. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Lavan. Thank you very much, and a warm welcome from me to our event. As already mentioned by Roman Dumitrescu, the AI Marketplace supports the development of new AI solutions via its digital platform. Before we look at the prototype, let us look at the big picture. The platform we built is developed in 4 stages. In the first stage, intelligent matching, AI providers and industrial companies will be brought together. To this end, the providers of AI solutions create competence profiles, and by comparing competencies of AI providers and potentials of industry companies, suitable partnerships are derived. Very often, we lack access to reliable data for the development and training of algorithms. The AI Marketplace provides in its second stage a secure data space for the development and testing of AI applications. One challenge is the sensitivity of the data. The AI Marketplace addresses this by implementing a reference architecture of the International Data Spaces Association, which guarantees data security and sovereignty. Based on the intelligent matching, the secure data space, and the growing ecosystem, the AI Marketplace will be extended by an app store. We will provide AI applications that can be used by industry companies with a reasonable amount of adoption. The scope of our store will range from simple services like consultancy services to complex AI applications ready for deployment. In the final and 4th stage, the AI Marketplace will offer standardized AI building blocks that can be combined as needed and used to develop new solutions. With complementary integrated development environment and through the plug-and-play principle, even small and medium-sized companies are enabled to compile AI applications themselves. And our goal is that they can do it without having to hire a service provider each time. This event today, and especially this slot here, is about the beta release of the first platform stage. Now we keep talking about this platform all the time and you have never actually seen it. Well, let us change that and look at how every one of us, me here and you out there, can access the AI Marketplace. For this, I will take my tablet and together we will have a look. You can find the link in the event tool and together we can have a look at the first page of our platform. As you can see here, we have some general information where you can read up again. You can also see our main address here, or main areas here. In the inspiration section, you can read about AI and product creation. In the other section, you can look at challenges that industrial companies are faced with. You can also post your own challenges, or you can browse AI providers. But more about this in detail from my colleagues later. If you want to have access to all functions on the platform, you can register via the login button. Here to the right, here you can enter your contact details and fill in your user profile. Once you have done this, you can make full use of the functions presented next. And now I'm handing over to my colleague Marc Foullois, who will present the section Inspiration of our platform, and in detail he will explain the potentials in AI for product creations. Thank you very much, and Marc will continue.
Hello, this is Marc Foullois. I've already had the pleasure of browsing the beta version of the AI Marketplace and present you today the AI Potential Map and briefly go into the call for solution service of the AI Marketplace. In my everyday work with industrial companies, I deal intensively with the processes, products, and needs of our customers, identifying and leveraging special capabilities as well as potentials of our customers is the focus of my everyday work. We have already had the term potential several times today. I would like to put it into the context of the AI Marketplace. In our definition, a potential consists of a challenge that can be solved by a technique or method and thus creates added value in certain company. Related to AI and product creation, a potential is first, a challenge in the context of product creation. Second, one or more AI processes, AI techniques, or concrete solution that addresses this challenge. And third, the impact of that technology in the demonstrated context. The AI Marketplace basically taps into these potentials from two thrusts. Once from the domain of the product creation, and further from the domain of the AI, bringing them together in one potential. However, the AI Marketplace does not stop at this point, because it becomes really interesting for the industry, but also for solution providers when a certain value is attributed to these potentials. For this reason, we evaluate them according to benefits and effort-inducing characteristics. How relevant is a potential for the industry? How much is the effort to leverage this potential? What is the added value exactly? I can find all the answers to these questions in the AI Marketplace. Let's have a look at one concrete potential in our potential map, the knowledge-based validation of system design. First, we have the context description of the potential. This sets the scope and describes a problem or the opportunity. In our example, we are in the system design and want to use knowledge of previous product generations to prevent errors in early phases of the development before they really occur. This is to be done with the defect reports. Second, we have the solution approach. This describes the goal as well as the AI techniques that will be used for the potential. In our case, the reports are pre-selected by importance and correspondence and visualized to the user at the right point. NLP and named entity recognition are used for the understanding the reports and similarity learning for the matching. Third, the impact of the solution in the described context is explained. Both the added value and the required effort will be discussed. In the example, the product quality is directly improved, costs are saved, and the document quality is increased. The effort lies in the preparation of the reports as an input data for the further processing with the AI. Additionally, the shown potential is also assigned to our two domains. In product creation, it is assigned to the process step specifies system architecture. Talking about the AI domain, it is assigned to the techniques NLP, similarity learning, and named entity recognition. Overall, the potential map provides me with a structured overview of the potentials of AI in the product creation and even shows me the best related potentials. We are aware that potentials also occur very individually. That's why we have expanded our service offering to include individual consulting. Services such as the AI readiness check, the data checkup, or even the potential analysis workshop provides concrete fields of action to support your individual way to future product and service engineering. Later, Alain Pfouga from the ProSep IWIP will inspire and present you our individual service offers. Browsing our potential map and taking advantage of our individual services is not the only way you can obtain concrete solution with the AI marketplace. AI is a game-changing technology that is already setting the pace and will do so in the future. This technology, with all its facets, is entering the market in many ways via the technology push strategy and is looking for a problem it can solve. In order for AI to reach its full potential and enable breakthrough innovation, it is our ambition to support this. In other words, with the AI marketplace, we want to offer industrial companies a platform where they can address their specific challenges in their product creation to our community of AI solution providers, software vendors, consultancies, and many other roles in the AI marketplace. Our Call for Solution service makes this possible. Industrial companies can describe their challenges in a standardized format, determine timeline, concretize their challenge with information about in and outputs, attach data packages, and publish them in a closed or even an open space. These challenges are proposed to suitable solution providers so that they can apply to the challenges with a solution proposal or even a finished solution. Once a challenge has been published, all solution providers can contact the owner of the challenge. The initial discussion about the challenge can then lead to an offer for the provision or development of a solution. With the result, a proposed solution or even a concrete solution for the published individual challenge is available. At the moment, we are supporting the description of the challenge and the matching with suitable solution partners. In the future, we want to support the development for the solution or of the solution via the platform as well. If you're now interested in getting inspired, visit our potential map. But if you have a specific challenge in your product creation, then post a challenge and get in touch with suitable solution partners via the AI marketplace. And now I'm handing over to Maximilian Panzner of Mercurity AI. Maximilian, the floor is yours.
Hi, I am CTO and co-founder of Mercury AI, a no-code conversational AI platform for customer service and e-commerce on website chat, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger. We help businesses to get in touch with their customers, to optimize sales, customer satisfaction, and collect meaningful feedback about their products that are subsequently used in user-centric product development. In the last 10 years, we have seen advances in AI solutions that 10 years ago, many experts in the field would not have considered feasible so quickly. In the near future, it is likely that the clever use of machine learning, that's the mathematical toolbox that powers AI solutions, and AI will become a strategically important factor that will significantly change products and services. Many companies understand that it is important to explore and leverage the potential of these technologies. But in some cases, they do not have yet the competence to implement the corresponding projects themselves. Therefore, prototypes are often approached in projects together with universities, specialized in fundamental research. These projects are usually exploratory in nature and take a long time to finish, typically culminating in a prototype that demonstrates an exemplary use case. The bottom line is, when smaller businesses that do not have experienced AI teams themselves invest in those strategic areas, they face some inherent economical risks, like high product development costs and a high risk of failure. Building up competence in that area is slow and expensive. In addition, there's often a large share of non-AI specific tasks to be solved. For example, data collection and processing of the data to make it accessible to be used in a value-adding manner. From this perspective, it becomes clear that for most companies, self-implemented AI features come with high risk and often are not the ones that arrive first to the market. A very vivid example here is how automotive brands like BMW, Volkswagen, or Daimler partner with the big IT giants when it comes to large strategic initiatives. The AI marketplace will be a strategic matching tool to externally source exactly the AI tools and components needed, but built and productized by experts in the field. This reduces cost, risk, and time to market. For solution providers like Mercury, the AI marketplace is a powerful tool to get in contact with potential customers, looking for innovative solutions that would be very hard to reach through conventional outreach and marketing channels. In addition, by intelligently cataloging AI solutions, the AI marketplace makes challenges that companies are facing and solutions offered by providers like us transparent. To be found as a vendor, we create our profile on the marketplace as an AI provider. In addition to the usual information about the company and the contact persons, what is particularly relevant here is our competence profile that describes our fields of expertise in a clearly structured way that is also accessible to non-AI experts. For us, this is natural language processing, because our dialogue system needs to understand text messages from users on a website or on messenger apps. We also provide a variety of API services based on natural language processing to our customers. Computer vision is also part of our profile. When, for example, a mechanic sends a photo of a machine part that needs to be replaced and sends that photo on WhatsApp and then asks, "Can I order 2 of those for Monday?" The system needs to identify which part of which machine should be ordered and find the corresponding part numbers to trigger the shipping process. Audio processing is also of relevance when the same mechanic has no hands-free for typing and uses his voice to order the missing parts or to ask for maintenance instructions. By formalizing industry needs and AI competencies, the AI marketplace puts young companies like Mercury in the position to find potential customers in a highly targeted manner, in contrast to expensive funnel-based marketing we are doing now. Conversely, the AI marketplace also proactively suggests concrete challenges from the industry to us as a solution provider, such that we can get in contact with the owners of these challenges to explore possible ways of collaboration. The advantage for us as a provider is clear. We get easier access to relevant prospects, including contacts for which we already know that they have challenges for which we can offer suitable solutions. This is a great opportunity to acquire new customers that fit our solutions and to expand in one of the most dynamic industries in Germany. Last but not least, in a technology sector in which there are hardly any recognized standards, such as ISO and DIN norms, the AI marketplace can additionally contribute to the creation of precisely these standards, lowering market entry barriers for both users and suppliers, and thus paves the way for a dynamic AI ecosystem. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm now handing over to Olaf Knospe.
Hello. Thank you very much indeed for inviting me to that nice place here in Paderborn. And I thank you that I can present my research project. I'm working for Westerflex GmbH. The companies of the Westerflex Group are operating in different branches worldwide. Already in the 4th family generation, we produce products at high technological standard. In the IA Marketplace project, we are dedicated to the pilot project AI-supported production planning, together with the Fraunhofer IEM. In the project, we focus on production system development, especially workflow planning. Our goal is to optimize the sequence planning of production orders with the help of artificial intelligence. To do this, we analyze ERP data, real-time data from production and machine data to extract clues for optimal machine allocation and use these insights for work scheduling. With the sequence planning, we determine the production sequence of individual orders with the aim of making production process lean, time-saving, and efficient. Currently, the sequence planning of orders at Vestaflex is still done manually. For example, using spreadsheets or analog planning boards. And it is not automatically. Factors such as processing setup and delivery times, product specification, material order, or the reduction of effort have to be taken into account individually. In implementation, this can be quite tedious. Orders and sequences of machines usually cannot be simply shifted without having to manually adjust the rest of the planning. From IE supported sequence planning, we now expect the optimization of the useful output creation by being able to save time. In the first step of the project, we defined our requirements together with the Fraunhofer IEM and selected a use case from production. In the next step, relevant information was determined and analyzed. Here, we examined the processes of how work preparation staff heuristically from sequence of orders. These processes are documented in the form of information flow and data models. For the IA Marketplace, we came across a very interesting software provider in this context, Istos GmbH. Istos GmbH is a subsidiary of D&G Mori and develops digital applications for the medium-sized manufacturing industry that are developed for network production steps across machines. Istos relies with its technology on a modular structure with several small autonomous applications that communicate with each other. We are now going to use a planning tool from Istos, which will help to fully automate the sequence of our orders in the future. We are currently in the data collection phase of the project, in which we are testing the planning board from Istos GmbH. It is a web-based planning tool for production planning with an assistance function and is intended to provide the user with a simple introduction to the optimization of production planning, taking resources into account. The user can enter products, orders, and capacities, and the planning tool will suggest an optimized schedule from this. Subsequently, the plan can be adjusted manually and orders can be moved simply by drag and drop. In our pilot project, Fraunhofer IEM is developing an artificial intelligence-based algorithm for this purpose that takes our specific requirements into account. In the further course of our project, we want to set up a data platform as a web independent on-premise solution. Large volumes of data, from order data to resource data to monetary data, will then be brought together on the data platform and proceeded for the AI application. At the same time, the data platform will be equipped with interfaces so that an IT infrastructure is created for the plant's internal data and data from AI application. Then, of course, we will still test, optimize, and validate this solution with real data. What this story makes clear, in my opinion, is that the AI marketplace not only helps us as a company from a technological point of view, but also through the network that is created around the AI marketplace, it is possible to get access to AI solution providers very easily. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Yeah, thank you guys for this interesting insights into the platform from these different perspectives. And at this point, I would like you, our guests, invite to register now and join the AI marketplace, because at this point, we are already online and ready to go. So don't forget, we will update our functionalities within the next periods. We are looking forward for your feedback. And now I'm very happy to introduce Ulrich Ahle. He's the CEO of Fireware Foundation, a non-profit organization that actually drives the definition and encourages the adoption of open standards that ease the development of smart solutions. He will explain our plans for the near future with the focus on the next stage of our platform. So warmly welcome everybody, Mr. Ulrich Ahle.
Yeah, Lavan, thank you very much for the introduction. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What's ahead? What will be content of the next phase of AI Marketplace? And let me start with an analysis of Bitkom, which was published mid of last year, where they found out, and that's not a surprise, that AI is a mega trend. But according to this analysis, only 6% of the companies, and they have interviewed more than, I think, nearly 1,000 companies, only 6% of these companies are already using AI solutions, and 22%, another 22% are planning to do so in the near future. This looks reasonable, but out of these companies who are using it, so out of the 6% of these companies, only 69% are using artificial intelligence in marketing, 40% in finance, and 25% in predictive maintenance, where we come closer to the manufacturing core processes. And the real surprise of this study is that only 1% are using artificial intelligence already now in product development. So AI is nearly not used in the product development processes. And the reasons they found out is that very often it is not an awareness, but an implementation problem. And with this, the study we did even before our project AI Marketplace is, I think, somehow underlined and supported that there's a demand for the things we are doing here in these projects. And another surprise, for me at least, is that out of those companies which are not yet using artificial intelligence, 56% are expecting high benefits from AI in product development. So the question now is, why? What are the obstacles? Because AI is not used that much, or nearly not at all, in the product development processes. And here I listed some of the obstacles. And now I would like to switch different to Bitkom, which is talking about product development. I would like to talk about product creation. The product creation process contains a bit more than just the product development. It also contains the preparation of the production processes up to the point of start of production. That should be, and that is, the focus of the AI Marketplace product. So one of the obstacles definitely is missing trust and also missing data sovereignty. What do we mean with data sovereignty? It is the ability of a producer of data to determine and to technically enforce what someone who gets access to the data is allowed and technically able to do with the data. And this is one of the main reasons why today a lot of companies are not sharing their data, are not using artificial intelligence with tools coming from the outside, using their data, that they don't have sufficient trust in the data sovereignty, in the data security, and the handling of their data. Then there are some more technical problems, like not compatible interfaces, like data models which don't fit together, or insufficient know-how about the availability of AI solutions. So not even knowing what's on the market, what's available in the world. And it comes also to the topic of missing know-how within the organization, and also access to existing solutions. And finally, also in some cases, there are not sufficient training data available, training data to train AI solutions for the concrete purpose. And in total, these are the main 4 and 5 reasons why artificial intelligence is not sufficiently used. And this is what we are working on in this project. And to overcome these obstacles, we have 3 important partners in this project. We have a lot of very important partners, but these 3 are joining forces to overcome these obstacles. This is ProStep IFIP, and Alain will talk directly next to me. I can already see him over there. Next one is IDSA, the International Data Spaces Association, and finally FIVEA. Alain will introduce, of course, ProStep after me. A few words on IDSA. IDSA was created roughly 5 years ago by a lot of German companies at that time under the leadership of Fraunhofer. And there are two main value propositions of IDSA. First one is the ability to connect different systems. And here the main tool is the IDS connector. And the second is to provide functionalities for data sovereignty. So overcoming one of the obstacles, the main obstacles I mentioned before. And a few words on FIVAIR will follow in a minute. So what is the role of FIVAIR here in this project? FIVAIR allows to set the necessary standards for the AI marketplace when it comes to APIs, so to interfaces, and also to data models. It helps in the implementation of the developed concepts here in the project and also their evaluation. And we are supporting in building the digital platform, the marketplace platform, using standards which were deployed and developed in the FIVAIR ecosystem, but also from other organizations, global organizations like TM Forum, where a lot of APIs and functionalities for the monetization of data are coming from. And FIVAIR is fully open source. So the results which will be developed here will be extracted into software modules, which will be available in the future also for other partners. And this slide and this overview, and maybe we would need to have a closer look at that, is describing several building blocks which are necessary to create marketplaces, to create data spaces. And this overview was originally aligned in a different purpose between FIVAIR and IDSA. It was aligned for the background of the question, what is necessary to create data spaces on Gaia X? Gaia X is a new initiative which was not known when we started this project, but both initiatives are funded and supported by the German Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy. And it shows here the role of FIVAIR, of IDSA, and of ProStep IFIP in providing these data spaces and making marketplaces and also data spaces reality. I would like to pick only a few of them. In the center, you see trusted exchange, and that's, as I mentioned before, the core domain of IDSA. But on the top left, we are joining forces in data models, in formats. STEP is something which is the standard for exchange of product data, so a mode to exchange data, especially in the product creation process, and that was developed and created by ProStep. Some 25 years ago it started already, but is now the global standard for exchange of product data. And also in the APIs, FIVAIR is working and providing standard APIs, standard interfaces to exchange data between different platforms. And this is relevant to overcome the technical obstacles I mentioned before. And this will be implemented in the next phase of our AI Marketplace project. And in addition, FIVAIR will bring in its large ecosystem. So the FIVAIR Foundation is living out of members, members from all over the world. You can see here in total more than 400 members in different member groups. The highest level are platinum members. They are shown in the center. And you see here companies from Europe, Trigen is from India, NEC is from Japan, or Red Hat from the US. So it is a global organization. And this global organization is spread across all continents with important instruments, for example, the FIVAIR iHubs. We have in total at the moment 19, 12 of them in Europe, 7 outside of Europe. And these innovation hubs, these FIVAIR innovation hubs, are helping us to bring the results out of programs and projects like AI Marketplace into the world, but also to get requirements from the end users and bring it back into the projects. And finally, on Pfouga, the foundation is managing a large network of developers. As you can see, we are talking about more than 8,000 developers who are using the Pfouga technology or further developing the Pfouga software building blocks. And the AI Marketplace project will benefit from this large network. But we also have strategic partnerships, more than 35 media partnerships, for example. We have also a network of Pfouga lab nodes, so data center instances where we can which we can use for trials and so on. And more than 150 different open source projects. So it is a complete open source ecosystem which we are contributing here to this project. And let me have a look a bit more on what's to be expected in the next phase of the project. What is important for us is that the AI Marketplace is meant to be a business API ecosystem based on Pfouga technology, where we are contributing. I mentioned the standard API. It is called NGSI LD, Next Generation Service Interface, standard data models, and also a security framework. And I should have mentioned that a few slides earlier, where we are working close together with IDSA in this security environment to also provide data sovereignty. We are also integrating in this second phase standard APIs coming from TM Forum, as I mentioned before, for the data monetization, and also to implement different pricing models, because this marketplace will require and will contain a business model where it is possible to also earn money with AI applications, with data. And for this, we need functionalities to monetize the services and to monetize the data. And finally, also functionality to provide real-time data services where customers, where organizations can acquire access rights for invoking and delegating access to these services. And these different modules will be able to be put together like Lego stones, and that's shown on this slide on the right side. Different services which can be used by a consumer. And these different services will be connected by a security framework. And here, as you can see on the top of this slide, the IDS connector will play an important role to enable plug-and-play services for solutions coming from the marketplace with common data models, with common APIs, with a clear security framework. And to illustrate this a bit, you can see in the center of this slide the AI Marketplace with different offerings on the marketplace, with an offering description, terms and conditions, what are the data models which are used or which are required, which is a security framework, how does the API look like, and this provides an overview to the end user, to the developer working in a product creation process. And with picking this solution, it can be integrated into the environment of the end user, which is shown on the right side, like Lego stones put onto a building and enlarging a functional building. This will be part of the next phase of the project. And finally, and as a summary, the results of the next phase will be that data can be offered, sold, and bought via the AI Marketplace, that companies will be able to provide and use AI applications on the AI Marketplace including services to improve the quality of data. That data for machine learning will be available, so to train the AI solutions. End users will get access to data from the product creation process, including context information from the different applications. So in which environment, in which context were this data used. And companies will get support by the AI marketplace to better utilize AI solutions in their product creation processes, because as we learned at the beginning, a lot of companies also suffer the sufficient know-how, the sufficient competence and capacity to analyze and to utilize these AI solutions in their product creation process. That's been a bit of an outlook into the next phase and what's ahead of us and what can be expected. So thank you very much for your attention and looking forward to the next presentation of Alain. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ahle, and I hope you all have seen that the AI marketplace immediately addresses the issues of data security and sovereignty. But it's not only the platform which offers added values. So in the meantime, we have also developed specific services for AI in product creation that can enable companies to explore their own potentials. And for that explanation, let me welcome our next guest, Mr. Alain Pfouga, and he's the Managing Director of the ProStep IVIP. And the ProStep IVIP is an association which works on actually solving problems and modern standards for product data management and virtual product creation. Alain is going to explain actually what AI means for product creation and what supporting services the AI marketplace provides beside the platform itself. So welcome everybody, Mr. Pfouga.
Good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome from my side as well to the launch event of the AI Marketplace platform. The ProStep IVIP Association is a global active independent network comprising manufacturing industry, comprising IT vendors and service providers, as well as the research community. The primary focus of its work lies in digital transformation, in the product engineering, and in the production processes. ProStep formulates and bundles the requirements of manufacturers and suppliers from the industry. It defines standards. It defines interfaces. It provides IT vendors with forums for improving interoperability. It carries out vendor-independent benchmarks in a fully neutral and compliant environment. The focus of our work has clearly evolved over the last few years. From individual data interoperability issues to enhancing data-driven efficiency in the entire product lifecycle management. As far as the product lifecycle is concerned, model-based approaches are overhauling the traditional document-based processes. And regarding the product itself, it is really evolving from the traditional digital mock-up that we used to know in the past to more complex functional prototype, digital shadows, or digital twins. With our technical program, we follow the objective of efficiently and digitally designing the exchange and cooperation of product data in the various system landscape of the different partners involved in the collaboration chains. And the way we do it is based on standard data formats. We bridge the different domains following the System V model of the mechatronic product development. With our technical program, we follow the objective of efficiently and digitally designing the exchange and cooperation of product data in the various system landscape of the partners involved in the supply chain. And the way we do it is based on the application of open data format, based on the application of standard data format. We bridge the different domains following the System V model of the mechatronic product development, as well as across the partners globally that are involved in the supply chain. The focus is on topics such as product specification, product shape representation, including 3D geometry, structures, electric and electronic data, partial or even complete systems models, as well as realizing the digital twin as illustrated on the screen. In the AI marketplace, we are looking forward to increasing the quality and efficiency of the product creation process with industrial application of AI. Developing a data-driven mindset is key to create additional value to customers in a broader environment. A consistent data strategy is needed to achieve perceptible improvements not only along the process chain, but with each iteration of the product offering, as you see here on the screen, for the product themselves, but also for the services to the customer. Services of the AI marketplace provide tremendous potential, both to our industry users and to the community of IT vendors and service providers. As far as our industry is concerned, data discovery is fundamental, and we support it by openness and IT standard. The AI marketplace should provide us with a framework that should establish the right environment for easier data acquisition, for data preparation, as well as for the effective use of data in the product creation task. So a bottom-to-top approach, making use of the complete infrastructure that we are used to in the industry right now, but by application of AI algorithm and technologies. The use of AI isn't new at all in the product creation process, because since decades, algorithm has been used and trained to compare the 3D shape representation of virtual products in a product data management system, to be able to find similarities across the offering of those data management systems. Algorithms has been trained to predict and assess the quality in a production line. Algorithms are used to support robots working hand in hand with human workers in the shop floor. The AI marketplace brings such capabilities to the next level. It will enable workers in the engineering workplace of the future to seamlessly be supported by AI in situ of their engineering and manufacturing task. This will be, for instance, achieved by automatic recognition of the engineering task and a callback to a suitable application to process context-relevant data, or, in some cases, to improve the capabilities of the existing AI algorithms by training. To realize this vision, it is necessary to be aware of the AI potential in this particular context. It should be possible as well to register new challenges which are not yet addressed by the community of users and vendors. And finally, the organization should be aware of what it takes to be an AI-ready organization. And I would like to talk about some of the services on the platform, starting with the product creation potentials themselves. What they do, they describe the application scenario as white spot in an organization whose needs are not yet supported by AI capabilities, but which represent tremendous added value to the company. The AI marketplace supports organizations in identifying challenges in an area of development, prioritizing the challenges to embed the AI strategy to the company itself, matching the challenges with AI capabilities and use cases available in there. In the case that the AI marketplace already have users supporting such capabilities, identifying the vendors and application for those AI use cases is also given. Adding the use cases to the marketplace at an early stage is, of course, the next step into this direction. The next service I would like to talk about is the AI readiness check that helps industry companies that are uncertain about their AI requirements and therefore have some difficulties in estimating whether the company and processes are ready to implement the AI application. With the help of AI readiness check, those companies can actually quickly and easily get an assessment of the current readiness of their company to implement AI technologies. And this goes at various levels, really from the beginner's capabilities to the champion capabilities. And within the AI marketplace, we do provide recommendations to move from one step level of abilities to the next one by providing a catalog of tailored questions of the preparedness of AI in an industrial company, by providing assessment based on some metrics, based on some questions that will be provided to the people involved in the process, and of course by providing visualization for the results to exactly know where in this scale, beginner or champion, the company is actually to be found. I'm going to close my presentation with just one sentence, which is, if data is the new oil, then AI Marketplace provides the tools and the services for refinery, both to the producers as well as to the consumers. With this, thank you very much and have a nice day.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Pfouga. And let me introduce you our next speaker, Mr. Ulrich Sendler. And Mr. Ulrich Sendler is a German publicist, freelance journalist, and technology analyst. His main field of work is the development of information technology for the use in industry. In recent years, he is more and more writing and in demand as a speaker about AI, IoT, and digitization in general. So he will talk now about the vision of AI in product creation and how actually the AI marketplace fits into this vision. So welcome everybody, Mr. Sendler.
Hi everybody. It's a great pleasure to be invited to share my vision on artificial intelligence for product creation with you. It's a great pleasure because I'm thinking and talking and writing about it for a number of years now. And by the way, last year I published the AI Compass for the decision makers in the industry. And this book includes a chapter of Roman Dumitrescu, and what he's writing about there is almost all about AI marketplace that we talk about today. Artificial intelligence, a vision from Germany, and for product creation. Is that possible? Isn't that true when everybody says Germany is so far behind? We are out of the game. There's nothing that we have to contribute to this topic, artificial intelligence, digitalization in total. That's the US with Silicon Valley, that's China, that's some other countries doing something there, but Germany so far behind. But we can do something there, and we can have a vision. And I'd like to read two little quotes from the F8Z, from the Frankfurt newspaper, from the day before yesterday and from today, to show what I mean. Artificial intelligence, as we know it for almost 20 years now, or a little bit more even, is used for commercial things, for e-commerce, for advertising, for personalized advertising, for sales, maybe logistics and some other things. But it's only used for those things that did exist. To use artificial intelligence on the smartphone, on the PC, on the laptop, and that's not where Germany is good in. That's something we're behind, we're out of the game. We don't play this part with Silicon Valley or China. Maybe except of SAP in Germany, there are not so many companies doing things that could be dangerous competitors to the big GAFA groups from Silicon Valley, and also against the companies like Alibaba, Tencent in China. But what they understand right now is artificial intelligence this way, only in e-commerce, only commercial, only with end consumer products, only doing something with products that already exist, has some end of the line to be seen right now. Because there are a couple of billion people that can be connected and can do something with the artificial intelligence. You can use their data, but that's only a couple of few billion people on the earth right now, 7.5 billion people. But what's possible with artificial intelligence is much more. And that is the Internet of Things. It was also invented in the USA. But the things are made in Europe or made in Germany. The products are produced, are generated here in Germany. And that's why Google, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, IBM, Watson had their booths on the Hanover Fair when it was possible to have a booth there. So not last year and even this year, but on the virtual fair they will be there. Why? Because this biggest industrial fair of the world is where their future customers are the exhibitors. So that's interesting. And if this is interesting for those big artificial intelligence providers, then there must be something there where we have to play a role and where we can think about what can we do with artificial intelligence. The day before yesterday, on Wednesday, F8Z had an article about Apple. The technology giant Apple is also committing itself to Germany as a business location and wants to invest 1 billion euros, primarily in the development of its European chip design center in Munich. Apple and Co., the tech heavyweights, see a strong export nation at the heart of the continent with industrial clusters of a density that is still unparalleled anywhere in the world. In addition, despite all the prophecies of doom, the local higher education landscape produces enormous human capital, which has not only developed in the corona vaccine research. So true. So if Apple is seeing that, IBM Watson has its worldwide Watson IoT Center also in Munich. Google next door. Microsoft next door. There must be something. And that is Why? Because Germany concentrated on the industry during the past 30, 40 years on development of products that no other country would be able to do, like complex products like cars, smart cars connected to the internet, like machines that can produce things, that can do something and bring something to life, which didn't exist before. The most complex tooling machines come from Germany. So even when it's true that Germany also moved its focus away from consumer goods like clothing, like TV, like screens, it's also true that almost all of these things are produced somewhere in the world with the standards from Germany, with machines from Germany, with production lines from Germany. And this is the strength which one person said today that was nice on the way here. I could hear him, could read that also in the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Germany has such a stark industrial base. I think its best options would be to build upon these strengths. Germany could play a role in industrial AI. That would be the obvious good region or area for innovation in Germany. And the interviewer says, so the race is not yet lost? And the interview partner says, by far not. The race in industrial AI has just begun. And who was it? It was Andrew Ng, the former president of Google Brain. He's coming from Silicon Valley and all over the world. He's a professor in Stanford University, and he says we have to go to Germany because the industrial AI will be something that's invented here. So AI Marketplace of its OWL, that's really a great pleasure to talk here, because this is the only network and cluster that I know that's concentrating on the most important part of the industrial processes, and that's product creation. Why? Because you could, as an industry, also take the lower hanging fruits like production, like logistics, like sales, like customer relationship, and use AI for that. And many companies are doing that already. But that's not changing anything for the future, not for the long run. You have to think about products that don't exist yet. You have to think about services based on connected smart products that don't exist yet. And you have to think about that when you create those smart products, because you have to think before they are on the market and in use. You have to think about that in product creation, in the product development, in design, in engineering. And that's what this AI marketplace is thought for. And that's great, because the small and medium businesses would not be able to do that on their own. And this marketplace gives them the opportunity to use their strength together, to use data, which is the fuel for artificial intelligence, to use the know-how also from competitors, but also from partners, and to have a community of companies that are having the same goal like themselves. That's great. My vision for AI, for product creation, is that Germany in, let's say, 10 years, might have a strong base for industrial artificial intelligence that's coming from this area because these companies in its OVL are well known. They were market leader before. They know what automation is. They know what mechatronic products are. They are leading in their markets. And now they start to do this with artificial intelligence. That might be the point where you can change things. If this happens, Germany will not talk about are we behind. Everybody will look for Germany because this might also change the way artificial intelligence is used in general. Because industry will not give their data for nothing, like we did on the smartphones. Every one of us did that. The industry will not. They want to know where is my data, who's the owner of the data, what is done with my data. They want transparency, security, safety, and want to know exactly what's happening. And that could find its way back to artificial intelligence in e-commerce and on the smartphone. That's what I wish, not the vision that I have for AI for product creation. Thank you very much for your attention. It was a great pleasure to be here, and I hope this AI marketplace will be very successful. Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sendler. And now we're at the end, and we hope you got a lot of exciting insights into what the AI marketplace can actually offer you as an AI provider, you as an AI user, and you as an AI expert. So if you have any further questions, please feel free to make us use of our chat function on the right side. And if you want to stay updated on the latest news from the project, subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on LinkedIn and or Twitter. Thanks for being our guests today at the platform launch event. We hope you had, as we had, a very great time, and don't forget to register yourself at the marketplace. Thank you very much. My name is Lavan Asma, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Goodbye.